Hey guys, Alex here. Thank you so much for joining me for today's at-home full body Pilates workout. Today is a no equipment routine, so we're going to be sculpting, toning, and strengthening our entire bodies using just body weight resistance. This workout does include a warm-up and a cool-down, so you're going to feel incredibly strong and well stretched after completing it. So let's go ahead and get right into our warm-up. We're going to take our feet nice and wide on the mat and turn the toes slightly out. Core is engaged, spine is tall. We're going to lower into a wide squat, bringing the arms overhead and then lift. Good. Circle the arms overhead and lift. Inhale and exhale. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Warming up the knees, the hips, the shoulders, lengthening up through the crown of the head as you lift and lower. Give it energy. Let's go 3 and 2. Nice deep breaths. And final 1. Amazing. Now toe heel your feet back together so that they are parallel. From here, we're going to elevate up onto the toes and then lower down, warming up those calves, elevating and softening heels down. Now your aim here is to keep your posture nice and tall, your chest open, your gaze straight ahead, and your chin parallel with the floor. Growing up really nice and tall up through the crown of your head with every lift, finding that balance and stability. Let's go 3 and 2 and final 1. Now we're going to add an arm rotation. So the arms are out in front. We're going to open to one side, open to the other, and then lift up onto those toes. Rotate, hips stay facing forward, rotate and lift. Good. Breathe out to rotate. Keep those shoulders down away from the ears. Nice work. Rotating around the thoracic spine. Warming up the muscles and the joints. Amazing work. And to center and lift. Nicely done. Now we're going to come to the back of the mat. Feet are hip distance apart. We're going to lower, sending the hips out behind, and then lift. Lower, lifting the arms, and lift up through the heels. Good. Now I really want you to start focusing on that core engagement if you haven't already. So we're lowering down on the inhale. As we lift, we're pressing up through the heels, and we're contracting the belly button in toward the spine. Creating that nice tight seam running up through the middle of the body. You can add that pelvic floor engagement too, inhaling and exhaling to engage the core and lift those pelvic floor muscles. Good work. Let's go 5, 4, lower down, 3, keep those legs parallel for 2, and final 1, lift it up. Let's walk to the very back of the mat and roll down, chin to chest, and then rolling down, letting the arms hang out in front, letting the head hang heavy. Deep inhale here, gentle bend in the knees, and as we exhale, we're going to tuck the tailbone and restack each of the vertebrae, one on top of the other. Good. Inhale here. Exhale, lower chin to chest. Start curving the spine forward. Gentle micro bend in those knees. Send some weight forward to the balls of your feet. Let your head hang heavy, arms hang heavy. Now bend your knees more deeply and walk your hands out, coming into a plank position. From here, nice flat line with the body. We're going to step the left foot to the outside of the left hand and open arm twist. Lifting left arm, looking up at left fingers, lowering down into your plank. Step your right foot to the outside of your right hand and open arm twist. Good work. Let's alternate sides. Left foot forward and rotate, and right foot forward and rotate. One more each side. Nice flat line with the body. Step the foot forward, Open up through the hip and the chest. Good, and last one. And hands come down. We're gonna hold in plank here. Now from this position, we're bringing right knee in, left knee in, right knee in, left knee in, lower the knees, and stretch back, moving into the upper body portion of our workout here. Coming forward, right knee in, left knee in, right knee in, left knee in, lower the knees, and stretch back. Amazing work. Coming forward, those shoulders should be over the wrists. 4 knees in, soften knees, and stretch it back. You're doing great. Really open up through those shoulders as you stretch back. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Knees down, and stretch and lengthen. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Lower, push back. Good. Now we're going to come forward and hold in our high plank. Make sure that you're creating that nice flat line with the body, and bring alternating knees in toward the chest. Continuous mountain climbers. You've got this. Let's go. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. This time take the knees wide and push back into a full child's pose. Regulate the breath here. In through the nose and slowly out through the mouth. Nicely done. Now from here, we're going to come into position for a low plank. So we're going to lower the forearms down to the floor. Forearms are parallel. The elbows are below the shoulders. Step your right leg back, step your left leg back. Option here, create the nice flat line with the body and hold in your low plank, and tap alternating knees down to the mat. If you want a little bit more of a challenge, we're going to lift alternating legs with the foot flexed. So lifting the left, lifting the right, alternating sides. So you're either tapping alternating knees down to the mat or lifting those legs, maintaining that nice flat position with the body. Core is engaged, shoulders are broad. Getting into that Pilates breath. Nice deep inhales and slow controlled exhales for 5, 4, you can do it, 3, 2, and 1. Take those knees nice and wide again and push it back into your child's pose. Amazing. Now we're going to bring the knees to parallel, and we're going to go into some wide arm push-ups. So I'd like you to take your hands almost mat distance apart and just turn your fingers slightly in toward the midline of the mat. So the elbows are poking out to the sides. From here, we're going to really lengthen through the neck and the spine. We're lowering the chest down between the hands and then pushing up. Core is tight, spine is in neutral. Lower and push up. Lower, chest to the mat and push up. Now, really focus on the position of those shoulders. Make sure that they're not creeping up by the ears. Keep that neck really lengthened here as you work into those arms and chest muscles. Lowering and lifting. Inhale to lower, exhale to push the mat away. Now, as you push up, I want you to really engage your abs, pulling your navel up toward the ceiling every time you push up, and breathe out. Let's go 2, and final 1. Nicely done. Okay, now we're gonna finish off this upper body work with some tricep exercises. So I would like you to bring your hands down on the mat, fingers are spread, fingertips are pointing toward the end of the mat, legs are hip distance apart. We're going to lift up into a reverse tabletop. We're going to lower, bending the elbows, and lift. Weight in the heels of the hands. Lower, abs in, triceps engaged as we lift. Lower and lift. Lower and lift. Lower and lift. Now, if you want to step up the intensity, I'd like you to raise your right leg into tabletop. Otherwise, keep both feet flat on the floor, lower and lift. If you're losing stability or you're not feeling it in those triceps, I'd like you to lower that foot down to the floor and really focus on that mind-muscle connection. Keep those elbows pulled back behind. Final 5, I'm gonna lift my left leg into tabletop. Again, if that's too much, feet on the floor. Last 2. And last 1. Amazing work. Now we're gonna bend the elbows slightly, both feet on the floor, and pulse. 1, 2, 3, 4. Focusing on those triceps. 8, 9, and 10. Extend one leg out long, extend the other, lower the bum, lift the arms up, fall forward, stretching out the back body. Let's really regulate the breathing pattern here. Controlling those breaths deeply in through the nose and slowly out through the mouth as we stretch and rest for a moment. Great work. Okay, we're now going to move into our ab sequence. So I would like you to get into position for a C curve. So we're going to sit up nice and tall. Knees are bent. Push into the backs of your thighs to really lengthen the spine. Chin is parallel with the floor. The gaze is straight ahead. Now, from here, I'm going to take my hands behind my head. Elbows stay nice and wide. We're going to curve back into the shape of a C with the spine, keeping the legs parallel, keeping the feet flat on the floor. Extend your right arm, extend your left arm, and then lift up, belly to spine, bringing hands back behind your head. Good. Lower, hold that tension on the abs. 1, 2, deep inhale and exhale to lift. Good. Lower. 1, 2, inhale and exhale, belly to spine, restacking the bones of the spine. Good. Lower. 1, 2, inhale and exhale, pull your navel in and lift. Great work. Make sure those legs stay parallel. Those heels stay pressing down onto the mat. Good, working that abdominal control, going back as far as you can, and then pulling navel in to lift. Don't go back so far that your spine is feeling strained. You want to feel this work in the abs, not any pressure in the lumbar spine. So don't go back quite as far if you're feeling like your back is hurting. Good, come back. Lengthen, lengthen, and core engaged to lift. Last 2. You're doing so well. Last 1, curve it back. Maybe a little further this time. Extend, extend, deep inhale, and exhale, abs in to lift. Nicely done. Okay, now we're gonna lower down to the mat and take the hands behind the head once again. The fingers are interlaced behind the head rests heavy in the hands, legs are hip distance apart. From here, we're going to lift up into a crunch, and as we do so, we're lifting the right leg into tabletop, left leg into tabletop, then we're lowering the right leg, and as we lower the left, we lower head, neck, and shoulders down. So as we crunch up, we lift right, we lift left, we lower right, and we lower left to lower down. Good. 1, 2, 3, 4. Amazing. Now, as you come up, breathe out, deep inhale at the top, and exhale to lower back down. Good. Lift, lift, and lower, lower. So as you lift up, I want you to press that low back into the mat and then lower with control. Peeling head, neck, and shoulders up off the mat, resting head on top of the shoulders. 1, 2, flat abs, lower, lower. Good. Lift, lift, hold that tension on the abs and then lower with control. Let's go 4. Good work. 3, peel head, neck, and shoulders up a little higher if you can. Good. Belly button to spine, flat back. You're doing so well. Keep those elbows nice and wide, supporting that head in those hands. And lower, lower. Nicely done. Okay, from here we're gonna go into some rollovers with a leg lift. So we're gonna bring the arms overhead and stretch the legs out long. From this position, we're inhaling. And as we exhale, we're peeling up, lifting the right leg, lifting the left leg as we slowly lower down. Peel up, lift right, lift left, and as you're lowering the left leg, you're lowering your upper body down. So try to get that right leg up as you start to lift your body up off the mat. Good, a nice fluid motion. And as you lower, you contract your belly button to your spine and soften down to the mat. Good. Focus on control. Point through those toes so that the thighs are switched on, as well as working the abs. Good. Lift. And soften one vertebra at a time back down to the mat. Good. Lift, lift, abs in and lower. Last 2 sets. You're doing so well. Stick with it. And last 1, lift, lift. And this time as we lower down, we're going to place our forearms down on the floor. Chest is nice and open here. Forearms are parallel, fingers are spread. No slumping here. Push yourself up through your elbows. Core is tight. We're going to bring the legs into tabletop. You have option here of just fluttering the legs with the knees bent, or full extension of the legs for more of a challenge. Flutter kicks. Let's go. Knees bent or legs straight. Core is tight, pushing up through those elbows. Good. Point through those toes. Let's go. 10, 9, working those lower abs. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring both legs up. Bring both knees in. Take your right hand over your right knee, left hand over your left knee, and let's just circle those legs, those knees in opposite directions. Regulating the breath and massaging the low back on the mat. Let's go. 3 and 2 and 1. Lower feet down to the floor. So good with those exercises. We're going to focus our attention on our obliques now. So I'd like you to extend your right leg out long. Fingers are interlaced behind the head. We're bringing left elbow toward right knee by pressing the low back on the mat as you do so. Extend and crunch in. Extend, floating the right leg, and then shortening the distance between the bottom of the rib cage and the hip bone as you cross over, working into that waistline. Good work. Let's pick up the pace for the final 10 on this side. Press low back into the mat. Good. Flatten abdominal wall. Cinch in that waistline. Let's go. 7, 6, 5, 4, abs in. 3, elbow and knee connect. 2, and final 1, lower down, switching sides. First 5 slow, then 10 quick. Crossing over elbow to knee, floating left leg, and repeating. Getting that really good form down before we pick up the pace. Pressing low back into the mat and cinching in the waistline. Let's go. 10 and 9. Nice engaged leg, pointed toes. For 5, 4, 3, 2, heart rate is up. And last 1, amazing. Now we're going into a regular crisscross, crossing from side to side. Option, level 1, Your feet are flat on the floor and you lift alternating knees up as you cross over. If you want the more challenging option, bring one knee and extend the other leg out on a 45-degree angle. Peel head, neck, and shoulders up. Let's get into it. Crossing over, variation 1 or variation 2, depending on your level of strength. Good. Keeping that low back connected with the floor, keeping those elbows nice and wide. Let's go 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Both knees hug in toward the chest. Whew, I'm really sweating now. Some of those quicker ones really got the heart rate up with a little bit of a cardio element there. Nicely done. Now we're going to move into position for some side plank work, continuing to work the obliques and then transitioning the focus onto the lower body. So we're coming onto the side body, lowering the left forearm down to the floor so that it is parallel with the top of the mat. Knees are bent, chest is open, hand comes behind your head or on your hip. We're going to lift that lower hip, creating a nice flat line with the body, and lower, just hovered above the floor. Lift and lower, lift and lower for 3 and 2 and 1. Good. Hold it here. We're going to pick up the pace. Good work. Keep that neck nice and long. Let's go 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold it here. Now lower down, and as you lift, we're going to extend the top leg out long. Lower, bend the knee, and lift. Lower and lift. Keep pressing up through that elbow. Good work. Let's go 5, abs in, 4, 3, 2, final 1. We're going to come up and hold, flex the foot, lengthen through the heel, open that chest, and pulse that top leg up. Good. Let's go 5, 4, lift that little lower hip a little higher, and 1. Amazing work. Lower down onto your hand with your head rested on your palm or onto your outstretched arm. Bending from the knees, creating right angles with the lower body. We want those hips stacked, knees stacked, and ankles stacked. Hips are stacked one on top of the other. Good. Core is engaged. Opposite hand is down on the mat. We're going to lift that top leg and lower. Lift and lower. Lift that top leg, and as you do so, I want you to squeeze your glutes. Squeeze your bum with every lift. Let's go 10. Good. 9, 8. Focusing on that side booty and side thigh area. For 5, 4. Keep lengthening through the neck, shoulder down away from the ear. 2, and 1. Nice work. Now we're going to lift the leg and we're going to pulse, pulse, and lower. Pulse, pulse, and lower, keeping those legs parallel. Pulse and lower down. Good. Working that side booty and lower. Lift, lift, and lower down. Great work for 10. 9. You're doing so well. 8, pulse it up, keep those hips stacked, don't let that top hip roll back. Good, last 5, and lower. 4, pulse it up, lower it down. 3, abs engaged for 2, and final 1. Amazing work. Now from here, we're gonna just lift the lower part of the top leg. We're going to extend and bend, extend and bend. Quick pace with these. Good. Lengthening out through pointed toe for 9, 8, 7. Working the thighs and the glutes. 4, 3, 2, nice relaxed shoulder, and 1. Hold at the top of the lift and pulse up for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, core is tight, 2, and 1. Relax it down. Whew, that was tough on that side, but well done for making it through. Okay, from here, we're going to get into position to work the inner thigh. So we're going to give that top leg a bit of a rest. We're going to extend the lower leg out long. Again, you can be propped up like so, or you can be resting down on your side, whatever is more comfortable for your neck. I've got my front leg here, so it's out of the way. You can have it behind the body if that's more comfortable for you. Leg is slightly piked forward. We're going to lift and lower, squeezing the inner thigh with every lift. Good. Squeeze and lift. I want you to focus on your waistline here too. Let's go. 8, 7, 6, 5. Nice, slow, controlled movement, focusing our attention on those inner thighs. And last one, relax it down. Now we're going to come up, same move again, but this time we're going to pulse, pulse at the top of every lift. Pulse, pulse, and lower. Pulse, pulse, and lower. Great work. Lift, lift, and lower. Lift, lift, and lower. Squeezing that inner thigh muscle every time you lift the leg. Good. You should really be feeling it in those thighs. Great work. Lift a little higher each time. Challenge yourself for 5 and 4 and 3 and 2. Relax those neck and shoulders, and 1. Hold at the top. Pulse for 10, 9, 8, 7. Can you lift a bit higher? 4, 3, 2, and 1. Oh my goodness. That burned on that side. Okay, let's move over and do the other side. So coming down onto the side body, we're starting off with that side plank. Okay, so bend the knees, pick that lower hip up off the floor, nice flat line with the body, chest is open, hand is behind the head or on the hip. We're gonna lower and lift. Lower and lift. So we're just hovering that hip above the floor and then pushing it right back up, really cinching in the waistline, drawing navel to spine with every lift. Good, let's pick up the pace. 10, 9, 8, 7, lift that lower hip a bit higher. 5, 4, belly to spine. 3, 2, and 1. Great work. Now we're lowering and lifting, bending the leg and lifting into that side plank. Good. You're doing so well. Good. For 9, 8, hold and lift. 7, keep that chest nice and open. 6, for 5, and 4, abs in. Last 3, and 2, and final 1. Hold, lift the hip a little higher, flex the foot, pulse the leg up. Good. For 8, 7, 6, keep that lower hip lifted. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower it down. Whew, those were tough. Okay, we're bending those lower legs, creating right angles, supporting head on hand or outstretched arm. Opposite hand down on the mat, core is engaged. Let's lift and lower that top leg. Finding that form, finding that muscle engagement, working that gluteus medius, working those hips and thighs. Good, let's go. 10, 9, squeeze the bums at the top of every lift. Good. 6, 5, nice long neck. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Now we're going to double pulse up. 1, 2, and lower. Pulse, pulse, and lower down. Lift, lift, keeping the tension on those glutes. Good. Keeping those hips stacked, not letting that top hip roll back. Really important form point there to feel the work in the gluteus medius. We don't want to be sending that hip back. Keeping those hips stacked, keeping that core engaged. You're doing so well. I know these are tough, but they're so effective in sculpting your glutes and thighs. Let's go 4 and 3. Last 2 and final 1. Amazing. Lift just the lower part of the leg and extend. Tap, extend. Tap, extend. Good work. Can we move a bit quicker? Full extensions with the leg. You've got this. Tap, extend, tap, extend for 5, 4, 3, it burns, 2, and 1. Hold and lift up for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Relax those neck and shoulders. 2 and 1. Ooh, okay. Those were definitely powerful. Okay, let's move that lower leg or that top leg either in front or behind. Point and lengthen through the toe. Switch on that inner thigh as we lift and lower with control. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. Good. Focus on your core. Focus on your inner thigh engagement. 9, 8, 7, squeeze that thigh to lift. 3, 2, and 1. Relax it down. Good work. Okay, now we're coming up with those double pulses. Pulse, pulse, and lower. Lift, lift, lower down. Lift, lift, and lower. Lift a little higher each time if you can. Amazing. I know they're tough, but you're really sculpting those inner thighs, and quite often the inner thighs get missed. So it's a great idea to work them in isolation to make sure that they are targeted effectively. Let's go 5 and 4. Last 3 for 2 and final 1. Hold and pulse it up for 10, 9, 8. Lift a bit higher. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's move into position for a stretch of those inner thighs before we move on to the rest of our glute work. So take the soles of the feet together and just, this might be intense enough for you right here, or maybe you want to hinge forward slightly. Let's just take a bit of a breather and stretch out those thighs. Good. Let's go 4, 3, 2, and 1. Amazing. Okay, now we're moving into an all fours position, and we're going to target the gluteus maximus now and down on the mat and then up from a standing position. So you can either have your wrists below your shoulders or your forearms down on the floor, whatever is more comfortable for you. I'm going to extend my right leg out long, lengthening through the heel. I'm going to lift that right leg and lower. So the foot is flexed, and I'm really focusing on that gluteus maximus as I lift and lower. Lift and lower. Good. Amazing work. 8, 7, keeping those hips square with the mat and the shoulders broad. 4, 3, 2, keep that heel flexed, and 1. Now lower down. Make sure your core is engaged here. We're going to pulse that leg up for 2. Pulse, pulse, and lower. Pulse, pulse, and lower. Good. Pulse, pulse, and lower. Pulse, pulse, and lower. You're doing so well. Focus on protecting that lower back. We're not swinging the leg up. We're moving up with control. Good. Last 5, tight core. 4, heel pulses up. 3, 2, and 1. Hold it here. Come down onto those forearms if you're not already there. Lift the leg an inch higher, lengthen through the heel and pulse. We're going for 20 here. 10, 9, 8. Keep those shoulders down away from your ears. 3, 2, and 1. Take the knees wide and push back into a child's pose. Breathing deeply in through the nose and out through the mouth. Good work. Okay, let's switch over and do the other side. Coming into that nice stable all fours position on the palms or down on the forearms. Knees below the hips, wrists below the shoulders or elbows below the shoulders. Extend that left leg. Square those hips with the mat. Focus on your gluteus maximus and lift and lower that leg. I want you to find as much length through that leg as possible as you lift. Toes are pulled back towards your shins, so we're really lengthening through the heel. Good. Being really careful not to compress the lower back as you lift. Spine should be in neutral and should stay that way. Last 1. Good. Now moving into those double pulse lifts. Lift, lift, and lower. Pulse, pulse, lower down. Lift, 2, and lower. Lift, lift, and lower. You're doing so well. Good. Keep pulsing that heel up toward the ceiling. Keep those shoulders nice and broad. Don't go collapsing in the shoulders. You want to keep the mat pushed away. Good. Amazing work. Last 2 and final 1. Coming down onto those forearms if you're not there already. Lifting and lengthening that leg a bit higher and pulsing it. Shoulders down away from your ears, core engaged. Last 10, 9, 8. Keep that leg nice and high. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower your knees. Take them nice and wide. Walk your hands out in front. Keep your hips elevated. And stretch and lengthen into puppy. Breathing deeply here in through the nose and out through the mouth as you stretch out that spine, stretch out those shoulders, regulate the breath. For 3 and 2 and 1. Walk your hands toward your feet and straighten your legs, rolling over into a forward folded position. You can have your knees as bent as feels comfortable. I want you just to let your upper body hang nice and limp, no tension in the head, neck, and shoulders or the arms. Now we're going to slowly tuck the tailbone, draw the navel in toward the spine, and start rippling up through the spine, restacking each of the vertebrae, one on top of the other. Good. Okay, from here we're going to go into some squats. Narrow stance squat, so our legs are hip distance apart. We want our ankles, knees, and hip bones lined up, creating columns of support. Chest is nice and open. We're gonna lower, sending the hips out behind and lift. Lower and lift. Now, this is your time to really target those glutes, so I want you to put weight into your heels and then drive up through the heels, squeezing the bum the whole way up. So really focus, mind-muscle connection with those glutes here. Thighs will be working as well, but we really want to be making sure that the glutes are firing here as well. So sending those hips out behind you, keeping those legs parallel, not letting the knees knock in or splay out to the sides. Good, now we're gonna add a double pulse and lift. Double pulse and lift. Sort of the theme with our lower body work today. Send those hips right out behind you. Squeeze the glutes, weight in the heels. Good work. You're doing so well. This is the final stretch here for the glutes before we move into our cool down and stretch. Get a little lower if you can, but if you're losing form, don't come down quite as low. Let's go. 5, lift. 4, push up through the heels. 3, amazing. 2, and 1. Good work. Okay, let's bring the right foot forward, step the left foot back. Left heel is lifted up off the floor. We're going to lower and lift. Now I want you to slightly hinge forward, nice flat back, weight in that right heel. So I want you to really focus on that right glute, doing the work as you drive up through that right heel. Good, let's go. 10. Tension in those glutes. Drive up through the heel. 6, 5, lean forward if you need to feel it more in those glutes. 3, 2, and 1. You've guessed it, we're going down for double pulses. Let's go. 10, 9, 8, pulse, pulse, and lift. 7, 6, weight in that heel. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lift it up. Whew, okay, switching sides. Stepping your right heel back, lifting it up off the mat. Hinging forward slightly so you can feel that tension on the left glutes. Lowering and lifting. Whew, nice flat back. Whew, driving up through left heel. Whew, whew. Good, core is tight. 8, pushing up through the heel. 7, 6, really focused. 5, tightening the core as you lift. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Adding that double pulse. Focusing on those left glutes and thighs. Pulse, pulse, push up. Pulse, pulse, push up. Let's go. 7, 6, 5, abs in. 4, weight in that heel. 3, 2, and 1. Lift it up. Whew, dying. Okay, now take those feet nice and wide. Final set of exercises here. Wide leg squats. Lower and lift. Keep those knees turning out. Engaging the thighs, engaging the glutes. Lowering and lifting. Lowering your tailbone down toward the mat. And then lifting up, keeping the chest open. Keeping the torso upright. Lifting through the pelvic floor. Squeezing the thighs for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Pulse, pulse, and lift. Pulse, pulse, and lift. Keep those knees nice and wide. Good. Let's go. 5 and 4. So close to the finish line. For 3 and 2 and final 1. Hold. 20 pulses. Get a little lower if you can. Final stretch. Last 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Whew, that was extremely difficult. My thighs are on fire. Let's just shake it out a little bit. Stepping from side to side, just swinging out the arms, bending the knees. You can give those legs a bit of a shake. Amazing. Let's move into our stretching now. Really well deserved. So I'm going to bring myself over to a wall. You can just balance if you don't have a wall handy. I'm going to bend my right knee and just pull my right heel toward my bum. Stretching out the quads here. Pulling that knee back a little bit further while pushing that right hip slightly forward will help you to feel this in the hip flexor a bit here too. Let's hold for 10, 9, 8, enjoying that lengthening in the front of the leg. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Switching sides. Drawing the left heel toward the left bum cheek. Stabilizing yourself on that right leg. And just pulling that leg back as much as feels comfortable. To the point where you can really feel that lengthening, that release in the quads. Good, pull it back a bit further. For 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Walk to the back of your mat. Bend forward, walk your hands forward, coming into a downward dog. Piking those hips up toward the ceiling. Lifting up nice and high, flattening the back. So let your head hang between your shoulders, gaze on those shins. Lift up onto the toes, inhale, and exhale to press the heels down to the mat. Lift up, inhale, and exhale, press heels down, stretching the backs of the legs. Keep those hips nice and high. 2, and final 1. Now come forward into a plank, and as you do so, fold your right leg under your body, coming into pigeon pose. Sitting up really nice and tall, stretching through those abdominals as you stretch and open through the hips and the glutes. Good, stretching the neck a little bit here too as you look from side to side. Good. Amazing. Feels really nice to stretch and cool down the body here. Let's pike back up into the downward dog. Stretch and lengthen. Come forward. Fold left leg under the body. Back leg is nice and straight out behind you. Breathing deeply here. You can take your gaze up and down, stretching through the back of the neck. Up and down. And then straight ahead. Taking the knees nice and wide, pushing back into child's pose. Stretching and lengthening through the spine, lengthening all the way out through that tailbone. Walking your hands up, bringing yourself into a kneeling or a cross-leg position, and just circling out those shoulders. Opening through the chest, reaching and stretching, crossing your arms one over the other. Really open up through the chest as you pull those arms back. You can extend the spine a little bit, bringing the gaze up as you open those arms nice and wide. Good. For 2, and final 1. Bring the arms by the sides, lift your shoulders up by your ears, and roll them down and back. Every time you roll, shrugging away more of that tension that might have built up throughout the workout. For 2, melting them down and back. And last 1, rolling them down and back, leaving them there in place so that you finish off with beautiful posture. Amazing work. That was super challenging even without any equipment. So well done for powering through. I hope you feel incredibly strong and proud of yourself. I look forward to working out with you again next time. See you soon.